Well, welcome in once again, everybody, to another fabulous edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, and we're so happy you're joining us today because we got one of our favorite people on. Great guest, great guy, great instructor, and I'm sure you're going to pick up a thing or two after our interview with Mr. Lou Guzzy. The weather here in Las Vegas is fabulous now, getting back down to normal, even though it's been a little bit hotter than normal, but still, upper 80s, low 90s, no wind. So the golf courses are seeing some nice business, and it's just a good time to play. So we hope wherever you are watching from, whatever platform you're out getting to play golf, the weather is good in your part of the country, and we are hoping for the best with people that are surviving the hurricane, in the eastern part of the country. Just unbelievable what has happened back there. So we're praying for everybody to be safe, be well, survive. It's just an incredible thing. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about our guest, Mr. Lou Guzzy. Lou has long been recognized as one of Golf Magazine's top 100 teachers in America. Lou was also named twice PGA Section Teacher of the Year Award in Philadelphia, where he's at. And, of course, that's given by the PGA of America. Lou is a 2014 Horton Smith Award winner. And for those of you that are not familiar with the Horton Smith Award, that's for educational purposes, what a PGA professional brings to educating people about the game, advancing the game. Lou has competed in the U.S. Open qualifiers, both the U.S. Amateur and the Mid-Amateur qualifiers, various PGA Section events, and winning not one, not two, not three, but 4 club championships. We're going to have to ask him about that. Lou writes instructional articles for Golf Magazine, as well as various other publications. So the guy can not only walk the walk and talk the talk, and that's what makes him one hell of a great instructor. So without further ado, let's bring our special guest on, Mr. Lou Guzzy. And Lou, welcome to the show. So glad to have you back on. I know you've been busy, you're hard to get, but thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure there, Dennis. And last time I saw you, we were down at the PGA show.
We were.
In January, having a good time, trying to figure out what's going on in the business and the world of golf and golf instruction.
Yeah, exactly. And we're hoping to get together this January in Orlando for the PGA merchandise show that's coming up there. Tell us a little bit about, because you're playing a very important role there this coming show.
That's right. We have the National PGA Teaching and Coaching Summit, which is going to be right before the show, right there in Orlando, Florida. And we're going to get the best golf instructors in the world to chat for 2 days on the 19th and 20th to coaches around the world on how to teach better. So we're all going down there to learn. I've been fortunate enough to be on the committee for a long time, chairing it with a good buddy of mine, Tom Henderson, this year. And we've got a great lineup of speakers, and it's going to be a good 2 days.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. And it's going to be it's going to be fun seeing all those guys as well. All right, let me start off. Let me start off, Lou, and ask you this. How in the world did so many different swing philosophies develop, Lou, when they all really try to accomplish the same result, and that is delivering the club face square to the ball? How did all of these theories come about?
Oh, my goodness. What a great question there, Dennis. I think about this all the time when I'm teaching. A lot of we talk about the Teaching and Coaching Summit. A lot of the challenges that we have as coaches is taking players that definitely move that golf club a lot of different ways and
Yeah,
figuring out how we're going to be able to control that face. You said that the face of the golf club's the only thing that hits the ball.
right.
Now, even today, with our we certainly understand more about the golf swing than ever before. In 1978, 1979, when I first started playing, for whatever reason, I wanted to record my swing, and I grabbed my dad's 8 millimeter camera. And folks, you crank that thing up, it goes out. You wait a week before you get the video back, and by that time, I was hitting so many balls. My swing changed anyway. But in 79, 80, I wanted to learn by watching what I did and then mimicking the great players. So even today, when you look at the swings today, there's still so many different golf swings
Yeah,
that
yeah,
are out there that play it at an elite level that have ultimately the control of the golf club, the control of the face, and therefore the control of the golf ball.
right.
So, there is no right or wrong to
Yeah,
any of this. And Scotty Scheffler with his footwork is proof that, holy cow, I'm a big footwork guy. Scotty doesn't care. He knows where the club face is when he's
yep,
swinging, and his feet do what they want. And he
yep,
says that. He goes, my feet do what they want.
yeah, yeah. That's a very, very good point. It's not really how you get it done, but the point is you get it done, and that's especially critical for these guys playing competitive golf. Lou, do you think there might be, and I don't know what you teach particularly as far as the swing philosophy, but I got two questions. When you work with a new student, how do you determine which way you're going to go with him or her as far as a philosophy? And secondly, is there one swing theory you think gives you a better chance to consistently hit the ball as good as you can?
Yeah, there's elite players. There's obviously tour players. Then there's the average amateur that's just trying to do this on the weekend after working a full week.
Right.
The, the one thing that I can tell you, Dennis, from the beginning, when I was young and I was working with my first golf instructor, a man named Jerry Pisano, he opened up Hogan's book and he showed me Hogan's swing, which obviously we all know how great a ball striker and player Ben Hogan was. But he said something to me that I'll never forget when I was still 16 years old. He said, Junior, we're going to eliminate wasted motion in your golf swing. This is all about taking away movements that you don't need to hit a golf ball well. So in the end, if you look at really good golf swings, there's a simplicity to these swings.
Yeah.
And they don't have a lot of moving parts. And that's how I developed my swing. The one thing I can tell you is over the years of teaching, I have a lot of flexibility once I work with a student. Number one, I want to find out what their goals are and their commitment.
Uh huh.
But then from there, you're going to see what they're going to be able to do under a little bit of pressure. And the pressure for them could be just playing with their boss, playing in a club championship.
Sure.
They have way more pressure on them than a tour player because a tour player is prepared. The average amateur player on the weekend playing at a club championship, they are way more nervous because
Yeah.
they're not tour players and they don't prepare the same way.
Right.
But if you're, as a coach, as long as it's within the margins are correct, you better start molding their golf swing based on what they're going to do anyway when they go out to play golf. Otherwise, they're never going to be successful. I have a junior right now that he's one of the best players in the country. He's going through Q school right now, and he's a very, very good player. And he has a very unusual golf swing. It's very unique, beautiful rhythm, and he knows where that golf club is and where that face is at impact. And I told him years ago, I said, Patrick, don't ever change your swing. This is where we went with it. Started teaching him when he was young. And I said, you need to own this swing. This is your golf swing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, with Scotty Scheffler with his footwork and how he swings the club, that also helped validate that Patrick needs to believe in his swing. He'll probably make the tour.
Yeah. Really. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good. Good for
And
you.
it doesn't have to be like 6'7". Doesn't
Really?
hurt to be like, oh
No.
man.
No.
Yeah, that's nowadays size, on the PGA
Wow.
Tour, it's a big deal, isn't it?
It is. It is. You could really, really move that golf ball. Lou,
Yeah.
what do most of your students come to you for? Is there a commonality of problems?
Well, years ago, I put in a golf simulator because I wanted to have the ability to help them manage their game. Even though obviously the conditions are good, the lie's always going to be
Yeah.
perfect. We can go around the golf course and strategize on what they're going to do. I find more and more that I'm spending more time with them on the simulator and less time with them in obviously swing mechanics. Once I realize that this is where they're at, because number one, they don't spend enough time with chipping and putting, and they don't spend enough time from 30 yards and in.
Right.
The average player could drop 10, 15 strokes. If they're shooting in the high 90s, low hundreds, they could drop 15 strokes with chipping and putting. It doesn't require a lot of physical strength to chip and putt. So
No.
everybody should be good at it and spend the time working on it. The problem is most people want to hit golf balls. I was guilty of that. I loved making a golf swing and hitting the ball and hitting that driver and seeing how far it would go. And the chipping and putting isn't maybe as exciting,
Right.
but man, could they drop some strokes. So I try to manage them and coach them on how to develop what I think they should do. And then I work with them on obviously what they're going to do.
I think that, and I asked most of my guests, and you're exactly right. I said, as a top teaching professional like yourself, Lou, what do you tell your students to help make chipping and putting more sexy? Get away from, hitting drives all day, but that's a scoring part of the game. That is super important. So what do you do to make it more sexy, make them want to do it?
Well, on the simulator, I have a Lost Lagoon miniature golf course. And believe it or not, I put a lot of people on the miniature golf course while we're working on their putting stroke and their technique so that they can have fun and play and make a hole in one. And, the bells and whistles go off. It can get boring when you're just going out there putting. And I tell
Yeah.
them, go on the putting green, warm up for a couple of minutes, and then take one ball, play 9 or 18 holes on the putting green. You're really simulating now being on the course. Go through your entire pre-shot routine when you pick these putts out, and then keep the score. Date your card, keep the score. So if you play 9 holes, you're going to pick 3 easy, 3 medium, and 3 hard
Yeah.
putts.
Right.
And then you go through that routine. You will feel like you're out on the golf course, standing there hitting, 10, 15 footers. That's not how you play golf.
No, that's not how you play golf. That's not. I agree with you 100%. Anyway, you mentioned it. You brought me to my next question, so thank you. I hear so much now, Lou, about developing a good shot routine. What exactly constitutes, in your mind, a good shot routine?
Yep. So pre-shot routine, when I teach that, and of course the simulator is great for that. We can do that also hitting out of the bays at Tallamore Country Club, which is where I teach. The pre-shot routine is so important because number one, it's not a reaction sport. So that ball's going to sit there and look back at you. Now you're either going to own the ball or the ball's going to own you. Same thing with the golf course. Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. I remember Joey Pisano going back to him one time. I was over a shot as we were in a lesson, and evidently I must have looked scared because he gave it to me pretty good and just said, right now that ball owns you. You need to own that golf ball. And then he really got up in my face. That was old school teaching, and I loved it. But that routine is what saves us a lot when we're under pressure. And you have this routine where, like, let's say, just for instance, you're going to hit a stock shot off a tee box, whether it's a driver or an
Yeah.
iron coming in par
Yep.
three. You need to be consistent with that routine. That means that somebody has to teach it to you, and then you have to practice it on the range, just like everything else.
Sure.
So that if I have a breathing routine walking into the ball, I'm going to breathe the same way every time, which takes away tension. When I get over the shot, I'm going to waggle the club back the same way every single time. And I don't want to lose that routine because that's my trigger for making the swing.
Right.
And we teach people how to do that. And breathing, Dennis, is a big part of this.
Yeah. Breathing is important. I think so many people overlook that, Lou. I'm I'm glad you brought that up because it releases tension. It's an important part of the game, believe it or not. Anyway, Lou, we got to take a short break. Stay with us. And when we do return, we will have a lot more with our special guest, top 100 golf instructor, Mr. Lou Guzzy, back right after this. Hi, I'm Dennis Silvers, host of the 19th Hole podcast for golfers. Here to tell you about a product that's improved my game, Poptical sunglasses. Unlike ordinary sunglasses, Popticals are collapsible using a unique rail system that lets you easily store them in their protective case. They offer crystal clear vision, UV protection, and are scratch resistant and water repellent. Poptical's Golf Pacific lenses feature purple and violet tints that reduce the grain saturation of golf courses and unleash the golfer's ability to distinguish between green gradients to identify course contours and variations on every shot, even grain patterns on the greens. Admittedly, they look great on and off the course. Plus, Popticals come with a 2-year warranty, a 30-day return policy, and make the perfect gift for the golfer in your life. Visit popticals.com for more info.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence, AI, has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
All right, we are back with more of the 19th Hole podcast for golfers with our special guest, Mr. Lou Guzzy. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers. And Lou, let me ask you this. In your opinion, can you be a good and effective teacher without having played competitively like yourself?
Yes, I think to a point, yes. There's a huge advantage to being able to communicate with people the experiences you've had as a player, understanding what it's like standing up on a tee, even being prepared to hit a golf shot, and then dealing with the nerves and being able to while you're brutally nervous. That helps a lot. But yeah, I think that if somebody has a clear understanding of what to teach, they can certainly help. They're going to be, again, at a disadvantage when it comes to kind of relating to the experience of playing at a better level. But that's
Yeah.
okay. Look, I teach mostly high handicappers. I develop juniors that turn into elite players, which is enjoyable. But at the same time, most of this business for us as coaches is the 15 to 30 handicapper. That's where most people are looking for help. So, I enjoy seeing them, especially if they're a 30 handicapper,
Yeah.
knocking 10, 15 strokes off their game quick.
Yeah.
You're gonna boom.
Yeah, that's true. It's a lot easier helping that person, him or her, as opposed to an elite player or tour professional. A lot easier doing that. A lot easier doing that. Again, Lou, in your view and experience, is getting, you hear so much about this, is getting fitted for clubs as good as golfers think or not?
I think at the right time it is. I've had people come into the building. Now I send them out. I have two fitters that I use, and I send the fittings out. But there's times when I'm telling them to hold off on the fitting until we get the swing where we need it. And then from there, I mean, obviously, if they're coming in with super old clubs, yeah, go get a little better starter set. But once they're swinging the club well, then I'm interested in getting them to the fitter so that they get a good set of clubs to play with. But man, in the beginning, their golf swing's so out of whack. No, a
Yeah.
fitting's not going to help.
Yeah, true. True, and I agree with you 100%. I think, though, when people come to you and they get to the point where they're able to take a plain lesson, and, I talk to everybody in the world, some people really value plain lessons. I should say teaching professionals. Others not so much. Where do you stand on that?
Again, just like the fitting at the right time, I've had people ask me about playing lessons, and I said, you don't have enough control over your golf ball yet. And I said, until you have control over your golf ball with what we're working on in your swing, then going out and giving you a playing lesson is not going to help your game.
Yeah.
Now, at the same time, I've taken people out on the golf course. I want them on the golf course as quickly as possible, whether it's obviously going from the simulator now out on the actual grass. If they go on the golf course and at that point in time, they're making, let's say, a little half or three-quarter swing, and they can control, let's say, 7-iron up through wedges, chipping and putting, I'm going to take them out on the golf course, and they're only going to hit the shot they learned from me. So if they go out there and they go, well, I'm going to hit my driver, and I'm like, look, we're doing a playing lesson, but you're not able to hit your driver yet with any control, so why would we do that? That's non-productive. Let's go out with the 7-iron.
Right.
Let's hit that 7-iron 120 with carry and roll down the fairway. Experience being on the grass, experience being on the course. Go up to the next one. Let's move at 120 again. Then as we get closer to the green, we've got 8-iron through wedges. We have our chipping and putting, and we're being productive.
Yeah.
Hard to sell. Really hard to sell.
It is. It is.
Yeah, but that's the way to do it.
Yeah. No, that's really a good way to do it. Really a good way to do it. Let's keep in the short stuff. Let's keep it on the grass so we could get it on the green rather than go find the ball in the woods.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Tiger Woods years ago, it's somewhere on social media, he was talking about, I believe over in Korea, and I'm not 100% sure if it was Korea, but it was obviously another country, where they would take these juniors, and Tiger Woods said this, he says they would take the juniors for 6 months to a year and work on fundamentals, how to swing a golf club, chipping technique, pitching, putting. And then they would put them on a simulator, and they would get them to experience, obviously, moving the ball around the golf course in a simulation, and then move them within 6 months to a year to the golf course. And by the time they got on the golf course, they were somewhat successful. They already knew the outcome of most of their shots, so then teaching them how to play on the course became very productive. And I would do that personally with my own kids. If they played golf or anybody that came in here as a beginner, I would say that's how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Introducing them, in my opinion, throwing them right out on the golf course right away would be like putting them in a car and sending them to the highway.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. You've got to have, especially in this game, a really good basic fundamentals and understanding of what you're doing. Because it's hard. It's a hard game, folks, as you know, and you need as much help with it as you can get.
Yeah, the mental side's great. Like we all hear, it's the 6 inches between the ears, but you can't go out on the golf course with that positive attitude if you're not ready with the ability to hit a golf ball. You're going to be you're not even going to go a hole and it's going to end. That between the ears isn't going to work at that point.
Yeah, yeah. You're not going to enjoy it. You're going to get discouraged, and that's why so many people after a while just take the clubs, throw it in the garage, and go, I'm done. And there's no shortcuts to this game. It's great lessons like from Lou Guzzy, practice, 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 play, play, practice, practice, practice. It's never ending, never ending. Yeah. And you could ask any tour professional that, and they will tell you the same thing. Speaking of the mental game, Lou, how much importance do you put on the mental game as far as communicating that to your students?
incredible amount. A few years ago, we had Hal Sutton, a good buddy of mine, on the Teaching and Coaching Summit. He was presenting, and we spent a good 30 minutes where he presented on the mental side of the game and how important that was. Now, it was funny. I just had a student in here earlier for a lesson, and we were talking about pre-shot routine, Dennis, that you mentioned earlier. And I said, look, I said, you're hitting the shots really well right now. I said, here's what I did over a 40+ year period. I had about 4 different areas where I practiced a lot, and I would see the range. Now, at Talamore, I've been here 17 years. So I see the same image when I practice and hit balls. When I would go out on the golf course for stock shots, stock swings, right before I would take the club back, I would leave the environment that I was in and I would go back to the place that I practice at, my happy place, and then I would make my swing. Then look back up and then enjoy the shot again on the hole that I'm playing. But for that moment that I was going to make the swing, I wanted to try to experience the same environment all the time. So I was playing these tricks with
Interesting.
my mind, to do that. And then I tell folks all the time, when you're on the range, hit golf shots and visualize being on the golf course to feel that environment.
Hmm.
When you're on the golf course, if it means going to your happy place on the range, find out where that is for you and then go ahead and make your swing. That might help.
Interesting. So you've got to find your happy place.
Got to find your happy place. Side of hitting a golf shot, we work with students on making a good swing, coming from the inside path to hit a good, nice, maybe a little soft draw or soft fade. But then that commitment sometimes feels like you've got to come from an inside path, which goes way right. Well, if there's OB right or there's an ocean to the right, does that person believe in their swing enough to continue to make
Right.
that commitment?
Right.
That's the mental. Yeah.
Exactly right. No, that's. I got a text from somebody on my laptop here. I'm looking at. They want me to ask you, Lou, about training aids. I don't know. Do you use training aids in your lessons? Number one, and what do you think about training aids overall?
I think if they're used properly at the right time for the right student, then they're fabulous. I like training aids. I use a whole bunch of them at the right time. Dennis, inside my studio, I have boxes and noodles, swim noodles that are up on stands and just good old cardboard boxes to shape people's golf swings. Years ago, a buddy of mine, Gary Harden, who gave me lessons in the 80s, and we're the best of friends, he told me when I was working on my swing, let's put some props in your way that will direct your swing in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that with my students. So a lot of my training aids are homemade. And I thought that was interesting because he said to me, and folks, think about this. When you hit a bad drive and you're under a tree, and all of a sudden you've got a break there where you've got a swing that'll put you back into play, there's an excitement in doing that. And then you rehearse the swing over and over again until you don't hit the trees. So it might be a different path that you're rehearsing.
Right.
And then you smack that ball back out into play and you're happy. That's the effort that you're trying to put into every swing when you're making a swing change. So if we put props in the way and give you that airspace, your body will work its way into those positions, and all of a sudden you're going to be hitting the ball good.
Yeah.
So yeah, training aids used the right way are great. There's some that I don't like that are a little gimmicky, but then there's some really solid ones.
Yeah, there are. There are some solid ones. Yeah, they're very true. Do you think that when people come to you, and of course you get a little background what they want to improve on, how good of a player they want to be, and so on and so forth, a lot of them overestimate their abilities?
Well, that's interesting. That is, years ago, the big question on the tour when they had the pro-ams was with the touring professionals, what do you see as the biggest kind of fault with amateurs? And a lot of them talk about alignment or grip or something in their swing. Jack Nicklaus, from what I understand, and I can imagine he said this too, Jack Nicklaus said when he was asked that question, their expectations are way too high. I mean, I think that is just dead on. Again, going back to what is a good golf shot? Like I'll teach my students how to obviously hit an approach shot into a green. Now, at 125 yards, I'll ask them, what do you think the proximity to the hole is by a PGA Tour player? Oh, they've got to hit it inside 10 feet. And I'm like, it's 22.5 feet at 125 yards. Now, how many PGA Tour players from 125 yards are going to make a birdie at 22.5
Yeah,
feet?
yeah,
That's a low percentage.
yeah.
So, 22 feet from the hole at a buck 25 is great. And they have to understand it's not that we're talking negative, like when we talk about, percentages of makes from different parts of the green, distances. They have to understand the reality of it so that they're not disappointed, because if they're constantly beating themselves up, they're going to think they're bad players.
Right, right.
I'm not going to make a lot of putts from 22.5 feet, but I'm going to put every effort into making the putt, and I'm going to go through the process.
Yeah,
Then when the putter gets hot, they go in.
exactly. Exactly right. Yeah. You never could complain making par. Sure, you'd like everybody like to make birdies, but making par, walking away off the green, you can't complain, okay? Because it could be a hell of a lot worse, and I think people know it. Your 4 club championships that you won, was that at Talamore?
I was at a club called Flowertown Country Club, which I was the head pro years later at that club for 9 years. It was interesting. I had, going back to my buddy Gary Harden, I had a lesson with him on a Saturday, and on that Wednesday, 1987, I have a lesson with him. He tells me I can rotate through the ball. I used to kind of tilt under and up, and I shot on a Wednesday. I shot 64, 29 on the front, and then that Sunday, first round of that club championship, I shot 65, and it could have been 61, and then
Wow.
won three championships in a row, missed a year, and then won one more, and then became a golf professional. But that was a lot of fun because, like I tell my students, when you're playing golf and you know the outcome of a shot before you ever make your swing, that's a pretty cool place to be.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was a time there where I had hit so many golf balls that I pretty much knew what the ball was going to do well before
Yeah.
I took the club.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's impressive. So you're out just beating up on the members, right? Taking money out of their pockets. Whoa, boy, oh boy, oh
Now,
boy.
at the time I was an amateur, so it was okay. I don't feel guilty about it. But yeah, I'll tell you what, I enjoy competition. I grew up in the city of Philadelphia, so we always played games as kids. Outside on the streets,
Yeah.
everything was a game. Everything was a competition.
Yeah.
And I try to tell the juniors today, like, whatever you're doing, we were pitching pennies, we were playing half
Yeah.
ball, wall ball,
Yeah.
wire ball. Make it a game. Make it a competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got this written down. How did you get involved in golf? Who directed you? Who got your interest going to learn to play golf?
Yeah, so my wife and I at the time were dating, and I had an old set of clubs that I got at a garage sale, and we were just kind of looking. It was a nice day, and I said, "Let's go play golf." And we went to a local course and hit it around, and that's when I fell in love with it. And then soon after that, I realized that there was value in certainly a huge value in learning how to do it right,
Yeah.
because I had no clue. And then I started to take golf instruction and then develop from there. And it was harder back then, no doubt about it. Technology wasn't the same.
Yeah.
The VHS tape came out. Man, that was like 1983, 82, 83. Having a VHS camera, I had the big pack on, and we could see our swing that day. And, that started to really help the development for sure.
Yeah.
Folks, you need to use those cameras on your phones and look at your golf swing if you're serious about doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want
just
people to self-teach. Like I think part of my job as a coach is to have them learn how to self-teach, because they're going to be on their own playing golf about 98% of the
sure,
time.
sure.
Yeah, it's like you're sending them out there on the golf course. It's like going out into the ocean. And you'll
Right.
never be able to navigate the seas.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Anyway, Lou, we're up against a hard break. Stay with me. We're going to be back really quick and have a lot more with our very special guest, Mr. Lou Guzzy. Back right after this. Don't move. Cincinnati Power to Golf Club is helping golfers around the world continue to enjoy the greatest game of all. This amazing club requires no swing to hit shots from 50 up to 225 yards. That's right, no swing to hit shots, including fades, draws, low shots, as well as high ones. One incredible club does it all. Golfers with a wide variety of physical issues, including bad backs, hips, shoulders, and more, are now back in the game golfing with friends and family. Just set the club to the desired distance, and with a push of the button, the easy-to-use Power to Golf Club launches shots down the fairway and onto the green. The Power to Golf Club has been endorsed by some of the biggest names in golf, and the number of golfers enjoying the game by use of our unique technology continues to grow. Whether a physical issue or just want to join in on the fun, the Power to Golf Club is for you. Don't be left on the sidelines. Get back in the game today. Visit at powergolfclub.com. One of the perks about being in golf media is that I get to try every club ever made. Of course, like most things, some are better than others. I'm here to tell you that I have found unquestionably the absolute best performing set of irons I have ever played, and my scores show it. Let me introduce you to Grindworks, custom-fitted irons that are made to fit your game. Grindworks offers players 3 different styles of irons. You can choose muscleback irons, cavity back irons, and even blades, along with some awesome wedges. And when you purchase your clubs, Grindworks lets you choose the type of shaft you want, the type grip you prefer, and even will adjust the loft and lie of your clubs if needed. That's unheard of. So what are you waiting for? Feel the power and experience and performance of these amazing clubs. Simply go to grindworksusa.com or call 281-651-4046 to order. Trust me, your handicap will love you for it. All right, we are back with more of our show, 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I'm Dennis Silvers, talking with Top 100 instructor Mr. Lou Guzzy. And Lou, I got something on my laptop here. Wanted to know what your opinion was of the Live Tour and everything that they're going through with the PGA Tour.
Well, that's a hot topic, isn't it, Dennis?
Oh yeah, very hot.
I don't really have an opinion on it other than to say that obviously everybody has the right to do what they want. I was a painting and paper hanging contractor for years, and the union didn't like that so much when I was hanging some wallpaper in some of their maybe hitting their turf a little bit. But we have the freedom to do what we want and choose the way we want to. The only thing that I would say is it's just sad that there's this it's not the prettiest place we're in with golf right now, and that's the only part about it. And I hope they figure it all out.
Yeah, I hope they do, because a lot of people, including more and more players, are going, enough's enough. Let's get something settled. Let's get some kind of an agreement, and whatever. And like I say, you got to do what you got to do. You can't blame these players for making a switch for whatever reason. And it's
I just want to see the best golf in the world.
Exactly. Like most people. Yeah. Yeah. Viewership is down in some of the tournaments for various reasons. I just was reading an article the other day about the PGA Tour having a little bit more difficult as far as finding new or holding on to sponsors, which is critically important. And it's going to be interesting to see where it goes, to see where it ends up.
Yeah,
really is.
Yeah, we're all in our chairs just watching and waiting.
Yeah, exactly. Just watching and waiting. Exactly right. Exactly right. There has been some criticism of some of the tournaments that the tour is putting on, but like you say, people want to get out. They want to see the best players in the world. They want to see some great golf. Speaking of that, what's your view on the PGA Tour, or I should say the R&A, rolling back the ball in a couple of years. Where do you think that's going to go?
I don't like it. I
I
think we
don't
should just
either.
leave things the way they are. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
folks, you're going to kind of understand. Dennis and I kind of agree on a lot of stuff
Yeah,
together.
we do. We do.
That's why, that's why this is certainly a very easy chat that we're having because, look, I'm a long putter guy. I've been putting with a long putter for 32 years. And I
Really?
remember when they changed the long putter, he was like, well, why change it if people are getting to go out and enjoy themselves
Yeah.
putting, right?
And
It's like,
getting
okay,
better. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, okay, let's take that away from them. So I remember when they finally decided that that rule was going to change, I jumped out with the long putter. I unanchored. I made like 6 strokes and I went, yep, no problem. And actually, the funny thing about that is it actually swings better unanchored than anchored. So for me, I became an even better putter with a long putter when they changed the rule. And it's just like I look at things and I say to myself, why make it harder? This game's hard enough on its
Yeah.
own.
Yeah.
And just leave the ball where it's at. They were talking, there was a little bit of talk about maybe you leave the ball where it's at, except for the tour players, and you back off a little bit there. I don't know. They went to Murray and Dennis, and they didn't tear Murray up, and Murray had tight fairways and high grass, so that solved that problem
Yep.
quickly, at the U.S. Open. So there's a lot of different ways to do this, but I don't want to take away the average player all of a sudden dealing
No.
with that yardage.
Whole idea is to get better, try to get better, enjoy the game more. Absolutely. So, and I don't think amateurs are going to pay attention to that anyway. They're going to do pretty much what they want to do. And unless they're in competition or a club championship or some kind of tournament or something like that, it's going to affect
Yeah.
them, not so much the
They even
tour players.
like, how are they going to even know? Is an amateur going to go up to another amateur and say, "I want to check the ball you're playing"? Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Oh my!
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I could just
yeah,
see
let me
that.
see if you
Yeah.
are they box screws? Remember box screws?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Oh my gosh.
what they did to the golf ball.
Yeah.
And then you're a PGA Tour player's asking another PGA Tour player, "Can I look at the face of your club?"
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Yeah. Let me see let
yeah,
me check the ball you're playing. Okay, really? I don't think so.
yeah,
But
no,
no, it's yeah. They got to get back to leave. If it ain't like the old saying, Lou. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
that's
Don't, don't mess around with it. Do not
well,
mess
you know
around
what,
with
too,
it.
Dennis. On that note with the golf ball, and now we're talking about yardage. I'd just like to say to your audience out there, um, I talk to my students all the time about playing the right set of tees based on how far they hit a driver. Now, I can hit the driver about 260, 265. I used to be able to hit it longer, but I'm getting older. At 260 yards, I should play at about 5,700 yards to experience playing golf like Rory does. So I think a lot of people are playing way too far back.
Yeah, yeah.
And they even said if you want to feel like Rory playing and you're hitting at 270, you would play at 6,000 yards. So find out how far you hit the ball and play the set of tees that's going to give you the ability to have fun like Rory. Rory's having a blast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I hate that when people say, "Well, I paid my money. I want to see every inch of this golf course. I want to experience everything." That's baloney. That's ridiculous.
No fun. Yeah, it's no
It's
fun.
no
I'm
fun at
I'm loving
all.
it. 56, 5,700 yards for me. It's an enjoyable round of golf.
Yeah.
And you're hitting all your clubs because on your par
Right.
fives, you're coming in with long clubs. You want to
Right.
go for that par 5 and 2? Yeah, go ahead, pull that hybrid out and see if you can make it. Rory's hitting a driver and a 5 iron into a par 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Unreal. And
Yeah,
people
you'll have more
people
fun.
people love seeing that. That's kind of the Walter Mitty thing. They love that. And but I agree with you totally. 100% have more fun. Forget the
Yeah,
pride. Forget the ego. That's not what it's about. That's why they have 3 and 4 different sets of tees. Okay,
right.
so you've got to learn from that. Speaking of that, when you coming out to Vegas to play golf, man, if you're only hitting a 260, bring some cash,
Ooh,
dude. Okay,
Hey,
when are you
hey,
coming out?
well, hang on a second. We'll go farther out there with that air, that Vegas air.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot
I don't
about
know. The
that.
last time I got to tell you, the last time I was in Vegas for a business trip, it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was like 108 and dry, and I went back into the hotel and took a nap. I'd never taken a nap in the afternoon before visiting Vegas,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we got there.
Well,
My wife and I got to Vegas for our anniversary in right before the pandemic hit.
okay.
In it was 2019. We were out there for 2 weeks. Had a blast. Watched the Eagles, the actual Eagles, the group, and they were tremendous. A little Barry Manilow and all that good stuff. Donny Osmond and Marie when they were there. We had fun.
Yeah. In
I
fact,
didn't
the
see you though,
Eagles
Dennis.
are going to be here pretty soon. They're
Are
performing
they?
again very, very soon. Yeah. So
That was
grab your wife. Come on out.
all right.
Love
She'll
to.
love that.
We would love to have you come out. How do I get in at the show? I know you're a day or two early before the official start of the show. How do I come see you if I want to? Can I get in and hear some of these top teachers and stuff? It would be fantastic for me.
Yeah. I'll check in with the PGA on that. I know that we have it set up where we can. It's not just coaches. It's golfers that want to learn. So yeah, we can definitely work something out there. It's really going to be amazing because
Oh, I'm sure.
we have a lot of variety to this summit, and the coaches. Like I tell all the coaches, when I ever went to a PGA teaching coaching summit or any summit, Golf Magazine has a summit that's great that we go to. If I come back from any summit with one new piece of information for my student base and the membership, it was worth the trip.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the way I look at it all the time. It's like, and by the way, too, if I go to a summit and I hear a lot of things that I'm already doing, then it kind of also validates, hey, you know what? You're doing the right thing. That in
Right.
itself is good.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly right. No, that's great. Well, I hope to see you there. If not, definitely at the show and hang out and kind of catch up. But anyway, I know you're busy. I'll let you go. Thank you so much for spending the time and coming on the show. And definitely have you back sooner than later. I really do appreciate it, Lou. Great show. Great talk.
Yeah. Thanks for having me as well. And everybody out there, enjoy what's coming next with this golf because it's only going to get better and better as long as you practice.
Exactly right, and that's the key. You got to practice. Thank you, Lou. We'll be talking soon. Lou Guzzy, everybody, great guy, great teacher, and we're going to step. We got one more short break. We'll come back, finish up the show. Stay with us.
Carter Bonus of Spectrum Golf not slowing down. His third year at the PGA Show, and the cameras are still following him. This time, Whistle Sports Media and Entertainment and Fox 35's morning show in Orlando, Florida. Carter, who is on the autism spectrum, has been Sports Illustrated Sports Kid of the Year, the Masters UPS Unstoppable CEO of the Year, all while securing a spot on the Stars of the Spectrum golf team created by former NFL quarterback Doug Flutie. Carter has been telling his incredible story about why he started his line of golf apparel around the globe, and his impact is making a difference.
I know that some stuff seems hard and that it's impossible, but one of my favorite quotes is, "It seems impossible until it's done." And over the past 3 years, I never thought I would get here and do all the stuff that I'm doing right now. Be Sports Illustrated Sports Kid of the Year for 2022. Be UPS's and the Masters Unstoppable CEO. Meet Steph Curry. Meet all of these good people. Meet Ernie Els, Alex Checa. Meet all, and be speaking in schools and in front of all of you good people. And everyone that I've spoken to before. I never thought I would do any of this. When I was little, I thought I would be nothing. But now I'm actually here, and I am successful, and I am happy, and I am thriving. And I'm saying if I can do it, you guys can do it.
Carter, who loves playing golf, designed his own logo and put it on the softest material he could find because he has a skin sensitivity. So it not only looks good, but feels good too. He offers hats, belts, shirts, pants, and more. For more information, go to carterspectrumgolf.com.
Hi, I'm Dennis Silvers, but I'm not here today to talk to you about golf. I'm here to talk to you about America's favorite pastime, baseball. America's pastime is back and better than ever with a twist you won't believe. Introducing Old Timers Day, a movie coming soon to theaters near you.
It is a story detailing the greatest baseball game of all time. Two teams, one chosen by God, one chosen by Satan, with the greatest players of all time, living and deceased, playing alongside each other to determine the fate of mankind.
This book, world tour, and movie will help unify the millions of baseball fans around the country and help satisfy the millions of people that have faith and compassion for their fellow man.
Who will win this epic game? You'll have to watch to find out. Expect an unforgettable experience that will touch your heart and soul. The Good Old Boys is brought to you by the Celestial Baseball Association, who are hitting home runs for God. Old Timers Day, where the spirit of baseball meets the power of faith. Don't miss it. Order your copy today at dpztechnology.com/store. Get this, use promo code OTD20 for an amazing 20% off. Well, sadly, that brings us to the end of our show today. So for Lou Guzzy, I'm Dennis Silvers. And we're going to see you right back here, same place, same time next week with another great show. So until then, get out and play some golf, everybody. And like Lou says, you've got to practice. So we'll see you next week. So long, everybody.